Going to use the old ice hockey phraseology. We've sold you a full seat, but you're only going to need the very edge of it. That's what we have with Whelen Mazda MX-5 Cup, presented by Michelin. Our second race of the weekend from Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course is next, and it's live in sound and vision. Sit back or forward and enjoy. It's the Whelen Mazda MX-5 Cup presented by Michelin. I'm John Hindorf in the booth in the Global Broadcast Centre, actually. It's very salubrious in here. Our second race of the weekend at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. A circuit that actually could have been designed specifically for the MX-5s. Just about to get the cars rolling. We had a cracking race yesterday. More of that in the moment as we place ourselves just outside Lexington, Ohio in a 2.4 mile 13 corner circuit. There is literally a little bit of everything here. A couple of technical corners along fast straight into a heavy downhill braking area, hairpin at the keyhole, opportunity to pass there. That big braking area down at turn 4, opportunity to pass there. The good news, as we said yesterday, and this was borne out in the race, these Mazdas are so small and so nimble they can pass pretty much anywhere. And this is what happened yesterday as we kicked off a fabulous, speedy Saturday. Coming to the line, which is on the back straight for the start. Gresham Wagner taking the lead down into the complex of corners. An early drive-through for the number 17 for the Rainey car and for the Heitman car as well, involved in early. Ryan Heitman coming through the pits there, the blue number 25 for early contact for a wild ride. That is the DeLong 42 car. That car looking less than pristine. Battle for the lead was absolutely outstanding. Gresham Wagner, Jared Thomas, and down the inside, the 72, Connor Zilic, just getting a little bit of his elbows out as he took second place. A couple of laps later, 3 wide into that downhill turn 4, and round the outside. Is it possible? Yes, it is, because you get the inside for turn 5. And Zilic in the red and white number 72 took the lead for BSI Racing. Almost lost it later on as Gresham Wagner, went for a big slide. Tokyo Drift, we'll have a little bit of that as well. As we came to the line, the 3 amigos were still together, and Connor Zilic taking the victory. Connor will start down in 8th position today for BSI Racing. On the front row of the Whelen Mazda starting grid, it's Gresham Wagner for McCumbee Racing from Jared Thomas, the man who is the JT of JTR Motorsports Engineering. A red and white chevron, number 96 on the outside of row 1. On row 2, the rookie, Nathan Nicholson. He's a JTR driver as well as Aaron Johnson, 56 and 24 on row 2. On row 3, Julian DaCosta, another rookie, another JTR Motorsports Engineering car. 4 of the top 5 from the JTR stable. He's got Jeremy Fletcher from McCumbee Racing in the 22 car for company in 6th position. In 7th, on the inside of row 4, Nate Cicero, another MMR racing car. Connor Zilic in 8th position, as we mentioned. 9th for Graham West, 10th for John Chaudouin from McCumbee Racing. Weston Workman slightly further down than he would like in 11th position, running the second group pretty much all through the race yesterday. 12th and 13th is Alex Bashura, one of many drivers pulling double duty over this weekend and running in a couple of the IMSA series. As the clock has started, but we are not yet racing because we haven't seen a green flag. So effectively we are now under control of Gresham Wagner and Jared Thomas. Gresham is in the blue and black car. Jared is in the chevron red and white car. A couple of little notes. Tyler Gonzalez went to the back of the grid in the 57 car. He's gone to a backup car. And Parker DeLong from that wild ride that we saw him, he's in a backup car as well. The blue car replaced by a black car. Right, you're up to date. We're coming to the green flag. We're already counting down for 45 minutes, and we are racing at Mid-Ohio. Good start from the inside line. Drivers right by that blue and black Gresham Wagner number 5. Already, did we get 5 across the track there for a moment? I think we did. Magnificent stuff, like 1970s Formula Ford with fenders. That's what we're looking at the moment, through madness for the first time. And it looked like we had the number 72 car of Connor Zilic on the grass for a moment there, but he's managed to hold on to probably 6th or 7th position as they come through to turn 9. Brilliant corner this. You just point the car at the trees and the track's there when you get over the top of the rise. So still our pulse at Gresham Wagner from Jared Thomas. Nathan Nicholson holds on in 3rd. No, he doesn't, because that's Aaron Johnson in the black and blue car, then Nathan Nicholson. Julian DaCosta is in there as well, so the 2 rookies well up the field for JTR. Nate Cicero getting a bit sideways, I noticed in the background in the number 83 car. See if he's lost a position as they come across the line the first time. Wagner, Thomas, Johnson, Nicholson, Fletcher, Zilic. Still in 6th from DaCosta, Cicero in 8th. John Jodoin and Grant West are your top 10. Big sideways moment from turn number 1, and the bright yellow car, once again, as it did yesterday, catching the eyes of race control as he elbowed his way back on. Jeremy Fletcher losing a position there to Connor Zilic. Jeremy just eased out from the inside of the corner. Now let's see. No, it wasn't a push, I don't think, as we saw in the background there, but a lot of dust thrown up. And the change of lead. Well, this is very early indeed for Jared Thomas to go to the front of the field. Thomas then from Wagner in the first of the blue and black cars. The 24 is Sam Paley. Sam, who impressed mightily in his first year of racing as a rookie, ran right at the front of the field all the way through that season. Ran a black car for the longest of time there. Now, standard pass down into turn 4. Yeah, a little bit of aerodynamic advantage for the car sitting in the hole in the air, made by the leader. Jared Thomas pulls out to the inside. At this stage of the race, we're not going to get overly excited about that, because if I got excited every time there was a change of position in Mazda MX-5, I wouldn't get to 20 minutes to go before I'd either lost my head or lost my voice, or my head had exploded. So we're going to watch this develop now and see how these experienced drivers at the front of the field start to put together their plan to break up this top group. The Zilic is on the grass again in that Sul Red fronted car, number 72. With the white panel on the side, BSI Racing. He gets eased down a couple of positions, but he's still in the lead group. So this is rather like bicycle racing. Let's see what happened to Connor. He was on the rallycross track there for a moment, came back on nicely. Think of this like a cycle race with a peloton at the front of the field. You'll get little attacks that go on, and you will sometimes see those get covered by the chasing cars, sometimes not. But it's almost impossible for a single competitor here to break away. That's because of that big hole in the air that these open top cars with the FIA approved roll cage make in the atmosphere. And if you're sitting in behind that, you're getting a drag. You're also making, bizarrely, don't ask me, but Adrian Newey told me this, so it must be true because he sees air moving. It makes the front car more efficient through the air as well. 2 working together is better than 1 on its own. 3 working together in an organised fashion is better than 2, and 4 is better than all of it. Well, at the moment we've got about 9 cars line astern, and what you'll see here is the leading drivers, to switch to a different sporting analogy, they're rather just like heavyweight boxers in the early rounds of a fight. A little bit of jabbing, a little bit of dancing around. Let's find out where the strengths and weaknesses of the people around me are. But all the time they'll be trying to break down this lead group, which is what, 9 cars back to, and there's contact. Now this is going to break things up a little bit. And the car wash number 78 of Julian DaCosta, the rookie, will just about make it out of the gravel onto the grass and the daisies and then back onto the track. Now, who was up the... it was the 22 car of Jeremy Fletcher, the blue car coming across the front. And behind that, that would have been Nate Cicero, I think, in the 83, who stuck the nose in. Let's have a look here to see if there was contact. Yes, there was, and it was Cicero in the blue and silver car. And once again, those flag marshals at the keyhole, are they psychic? They had that yellow flag up so early. The pass for the lead down at turn 4, a couple of 3 laps ago. So it's all kicking off again at the front. Now this will have the effect of breaking it up. And look, there's now just 4 cars and then a second's gap or thereabouts between those top 4 and everybody else. Now, if the next 3 follow along and play the game, they'll catch up, particularly if the front 4 start fighting among themselves. That's the analogy to cycle and peloton cycle racing in the Grand Tour. I had a race at Sebring earlier on that year. If you haven't seen it, we had a single breakaway car after an incident early on, and the chasing pack had to organise themselves for the last 15, 18 minutes of the race. Fantastic race. If you haven't seen it, look it up on the IMSA YouTube channel. A very different look to a Mazda MX-5 race, but it was very entertaining. Right, let's have a look down the back. Joey Rainey and Joe Rainey, the father and son, not starting this race. Way down at the back, the 42 is Parker DeLong in that replacement car from yesterday. So Wagner felt the need to go defensively into turn 4 this time around in the bottom of the hill in that number 5 car. Just making it a little bit more difficult for Jared Thomas and Aaron Johnson to come through. Nathan Nicholson is in there as well in the red and white car, and the tiger stripe car has gone off. Now where is that on the circuit? Nick Schaefer. Now I don't think he's hit the barriers. He's just spun up the rear Michelin tyres as he's come out of turn 6 over the top of the brow, and he's right up against one of the advertising hoardings. The witness marks on the road tell you that he's lost that at the top of the hill, and actually I think he's looped it at the top of the hill because the tyre marks cross over. Have to be a little bit of CSI here. And we've got a Chevy IMSA safety truck rolling to drag that car away, which they might be able to do before the rest of the field comes around. We're staying green at the moment. Could possibly cover that on double yellows this time around. Still under green. Our AMR safety team, best in the business. Well, the car's stayed there. Looks like the driver is out of the car. Yes, he is. We see him in the background. And there is a warning flag at the top of the hill, which is where they are coming to now. And we've stayed green. Like that call from race control, covering that under a yellow flag. So 35.5 minutes to go. Gresham Wagner back at the front of the field, where we've seen him many times before. And we are all the way down to Connor Zilich in 7th, back joined up again. After we had the 4 and the 3, we've now got the 7th. Oh, I tell a lie. Schaefer wasn't out of the car. So Nick Schaefer for JTR Motorsports Engineering is now running again. So having been right at the sharp end of the field, one of those 4 cars in the top 5, he's now lost a lap. At least 1 lap, actually. Yeah, just the 1 lap. Because he's going to come round onto the pit straight, the finish straight shortly. So through the keyhole, Connor Zilich starting to get a little bit antsy maybe in the number 72 car. The dark red Soul Crystal metallic machine. Nate Cicero right ahead of him. Actually, that isn't Nate, that's Nate 2 ahead now, because he's got past the number 56 of Nathan Nicholson, the rookie in the red and white Whelen Engineering car. he will want to go through. Oh, drop of a little left wheel onto the dirt from Sam Paley, from Jeremy Fletcher, excuse me, in the 22 car. Sam Paley used to run the light blue car. Jeremy Fletcher is taking over that colour scheme now. Here comes Nathan. Remember, this is a rookie who's just put an absolute veteran move on to move up a position there and past the passed into a better position in that Whelen car, ahead of the number 83 of Nate Cicero, who knows his way around the track. And still Connor Zilic sitting in behind. Next little group, by the way, is headed by Grant West with Jean Jourdouin and Weston Workman, who was outside the top 10 to start with. I said he'd want to move forward. He has done. Ethan Jacobs behind him. So Workman up into the top 10. And those three cars then, West, Jordan and Workman, just trying to bridge the gap behind Alex Bashura, the number 33. Spoiler alert, look away now. Oh, too late. Has just finished a little bit earlier on the day. Second in the new for 2024 Mustang Challenge category. Runs the same satin finish, olive green on his Mustang as it does here. And he is fighting further down the field for 12th place. From the back of the field, the 57, the white car with the Mexican colours on it. That is Tyler Gonzalez. He, in the Sato Motorsport group, had to start at the back in 28th and dead last. That's his backup car, beautifully turned out as ever. And he is piling through the field. Currently moving up behind his next victim. It's Woody Hyman right ahead of him in the bright yellow car. At the front, Wagner still leads from Thomas, from Aaron Johnson through turn one. Little clip of the curb on the inside by Nathan Nicholson in the 56. The chasing trio are starting to fight among themselves, and they've closed down to almost a second, just on a second back, and they've just dropped away a little bit. That's Grant West, John Jourdouin, and the purple car of Weston Workman. They've just gone back out half a second or so. They really have to be very tightly together, and that's what they're trying to do now. And as I say that, Weston Workman pulls out. Maybe he wants to set the pace here as he tries to go around the outside of Grant West in the blue, yellow and white number 50, but this is slowing them down. Not just one of them, all of them. Get yourselves organised, guys. You could be on the back of that leading septet, the top 7. This is the joy of Whelen Mazda MX-5 Cup racing. Still over half an hour to go. At the front of the field, there'll be a certain amount of saving of tyres. No fuel issues here and no fuel stops, of course. But you do want to get into the last 8 minutes, 10 minutes or so with a bit of performance from your Michelin tyres still remaining. So it's not always the best thing to do to lead, although there is a points premium for leading the most laps, also for the fastest lap and for pole position. And points in this championship pays real cash money, I've got to say it, in this race. Hello to the Discord group, supporting us as ever. Thank you for your kind words. Shay off on a very busy IMSA weekend, looking after another manufacturer race at the moment, with IMSA sanctioned races at Mid-Ohio, at Montreal supporting F1, and at Road America supporting the IndyCar. IMSA in a rude state of health, not just in its big championships at the moment, but also attracting the manufacturers who want to be part of the IMSA paddock and want IMSA to sanction and officiate their series. Says a lot about how strong the IMSA race control and organisational logistical teams are, and we salute every one of them for giving up their time and working very hard to get our racing to us, including that, by the way, our colleagues at NASCAR Productions, who are, I'm sure it's not pulling plugs out and putting plugs in anymore, but it was in my day. I have visions of the broadcast centre up in North Carolina like an old-fashioned telephone exchange, and between all these races, technical staff swapping and changing things around. I'm sure, as I say, it's not really like that, but that's what's going on in my head, team. Thank you for all your hard work and coordination this weekend, pulling off a remarkable feat, which has included having cars on the same track, on different tracks at the same time. Tyler Gonzalez has fought his way to the front of that little group he was in. He's now in the 13th position from the back of the grid in that mostly white Mazda. Just ahead of him, Alex Matura has broken away by about 9/10 of a second. Behind him, Woody Hyman has got a nice drag, and that's Sally Mott in behind there with the pink accents on her car. Sally running in 15th position. Looks like Max Opalski behind that, is it? No, it's not. It's Peter Atwater in the green car. 26 machine. Then in the number 6, Cody Powell for JTR Motorsports Engineering. So Gonzalez dragging that little group with him now back towards Alex Bashura in 12th. Bashura has got ahead of him in 11th, the number 71, and that is Ethan Jacobs for Advanced Autosport in his Mazda. And then not that far away from the Western Workman group, as I'm going to call it. Grant West now at the front of that group, at the front of the field. Oh, now starting to see a little fracture appearing. It's not much, it's maybe an MX-5.5 between the front two and the second pair. I don't think that is going to stand up down the long back straight. I'd expect the number 24 car of Aaron Johnson in third place to be able to get back to the back of the red and white number 96, but he's not getting any help at the moment from Jeremy Fletcher. Fletcher not quite close enough to get the aerodynamic advantage for the two of them. But a lovely run through turn 4 by Aaron Johnson in the first of the blue and black cars in third and fourth in that battle pack, and that has closed him onto the back end of the leading pair. Behind them, Nate Cicero leads Nate Nicholson, and Nicholson in the 56 cars, the best of the rookies. And Colin Zilic still just playing a waiting game in 7th. Surprised that Connor's not further up the field here. Maybe he just hasn't got the setup today. Maybe he is just biding his time. 250. Oh, slide for the number 56 of. Now, who was that? It was Nathan Nicholson. I was going to second guess myself there, but it was the Whelen car. Very, very slippery offline. This is relatively new surface. So coming through the carousel, was there a slight touch on the inside with the number 72 of Connor Zilic, our winner from yesterday? It was marginal. But I have to say that Nathan Nicholson was out of the racing line there where all the rubber is down. I think that has dropped Nathan away from the lead as well in the rookie category, because Western Workman's bright purple, dark purple rather, number 13 went through. 4 cars for the lead now. Then a little gap back to Nate Cicero and Connor Zilic. Meantime, in behind the 16th position of Peter Atwater, JTR Motorsports Engineering, Cody Powell teammate there. Heather Hadley's in there for PSI. Julian DeCosta in the 78, he's there as well. So Cody Powell is directly behind the green front of the car in shades of blue and white. Blue and white seems to be a fairly popular livery this year. The lighter blue front end. Behind Cody is Heather Hadley for BSI Racing. Oh, the spin right in front of Heather, and she's tagged. And that was absolutely no one's fault other than Peter Atwater, who just overdid it in the carousel. He'll be kicking himself. He'd done well to get to the front of that group, but physics taking over. He just clipped the curb on the entrance to the carousel, and that sent him out wide onto the grey. Yeah, he's what? Clips the curb there, spins it. Great avoidance actually by everybody behind, including Sally Mott, Cody Powell and James Hayosh. And that is going to take a lot of getting back that position. Gresham Wagner is up at the front of the field in the black and shades of blue car. 4 cars battling further down the field for position, and that is for the bottom end of the top 20. The 55 is Jonathan Neerdorf, and he's got a pack of hungry MX-5s right behind him. 54 is Heather Hadley. It looks like Jonathan's pulled through there after that spin. He's caught a couple of the cars ahead and made some positions. 78, the red, white and black car, is Julian DaCosta, the rookie. Then Heather Hadley in the blue and white cars. They head down into Thunder Valley. Check that as they head across the finish line and into turn 1. And that then the battle for places at the bottom end, as I say, of the top 20. At the front of the field, they're going in to the keyhole at the top of the hill. Top 4, as you were. There's been no changes. Gresham Wagner, Jared Thomas, Aaron Johnson, Julian Fletcher. Then a little gap. Ran about nearly 2 seconds now back to Nate Cicero. Tyler Gonzalez in the mostly white car continues his march up the field. Gonzalez just outside the top 10 now. And Nathan Nicholson, who was racing right at the front, will be his next target. But right now, he's going to have to worry about the number 71 of Ethan Jacobs, who's right in his wheel tracks. When 2 become 1, down to turn 4, right in behind them, Alex Bashura in the olive drab number 33. Then Woody Hyman. Can't miss the highlight, the yellow car. Behind Woody Hyman should be Sally Mott in the pink car. Yes, it is. Number 15. Remember, Sally is a rookie as well. And as it stands at the moment, she's 4th of the rookies in this race. Weston Workman in 8th position, leading in the rookies. Nathan Nicholson spun away a substantial lead and dropped down to 10th after he was battling for the overall lead in general classification. Then it's Ethan Jacobs in the number 71 in 12th position. He's just ahead of Alex Bashura. Can you believe there's still 20 minutes to go? $250,000 I mentioned, and prize money all the way down the end of season top 10. And you for this year, prize money for the overall top 10 in each of the races, starting with $6,000 and heading down to $1,000. Also $2,000 for the best placed female driver, provided there's more than one in the race, of course. And all that adds up to more than $1.2 million prize fund. Wow, that's a big offer. Heather Hadley, she's gone airborne at one stage there. Again, over the rallycross track on drivers right through turn 1. She's continued. Still in at the moment. Mid-teens, yeah. Sitting in, 21st position, just ahead of Christian Hodenland for PSI Racing, the two PSI cars, 54 and 32, in 21st and 22nd. These cars might look fairly standard, and that is deliberate, but there's a lot of work gone into them. They do all start their lives as showroom spec MX-5s, come into the US and Fliss Performance, the Fliss brothers up in Daytona, take the cars in, and rather like taking a Lego kit apart, they pull them to bits. The engine is fitted with a seal from Mazda Motorsport and put to one side. That will be important later. However, there are more than 250 specific assemblies and parts that are race bred that they'll then bolted on to pretty much a bare shell of an MX-5. We're talking about racing brakes and wheels, racing calipers, a SADF sequential flat shift gearbox, different differential, DSSV multimatic adjustable suspension, FIA roll cage, fire suppression system, data logging, different steering wheel, different seat, racing fuel tank, of course. All of that put together, and then the car's original engine, remember we put it over there in the corner earlier, that's brought back and married back to the car that it came over on the boat from Japan with. Absolutely untouched, 180 horsepower, inline 4-cylinder, exactly as I've been driving recently back in the UK in the latest 2024 Mazda MX-5. They are extremely durable engines, and with quite a lot of weight stripped out of these cars, sparkling performance in these race cars. They are supplied in white, although any other colour is available as an optional extra, but nowadays a lot of people, of course, are wrapping them to the fabulous liveries that we got, and that is the story of the birth of an MX-5 Cup car. Tyler Gonzalez still fighting off the number 71 of Ethan Jacobs in the black and neon Spider's Web car. Like somebody stretched a whole load of elastic, different coloured elastic bands all over that car. And this is the battle for 11. No less well fought for than the front of the field at the moment. Alex Pachura in there, along with Woody Hyman. Sally Mott still just watching on from behind, but she's taking slightly different lines to the bright yellow highlighter car of Woody Hyman. Being at the back of the group, you don't have to worry about somebody stealing your position. The man who's under most pressure, I suppose, at the moment is the man in the middle there, the number 33, Alex Pachura. He's trying to get past Ethan Jacobs, but he knows if he makes a tiny mistake, gets half a car's width offline, that Woody Hyman will take advantage and nick that position from him. Still just under 16 minutes to go. The front four are consolidating their lead over Nate Cicero, who's now 4.4 seconds, call it 4.5 seconds back. He's got a couple of tenths on Connor Zilic. Those two have not been able to hold on to leaders. They're running very closely together now behind the leading quartet. Just coming down the inside into turn 4. Connor Zilic was having a little look there. Might get a glimpse of it as the leaders come down to turn 6. Is it the red car ahead? It is the red car ahead. And Connor Zilic has made up that one position, and that was your absolutely regulation down the hill overtake into turn 4. So Zilic, for the longest time, sitting in 6th position, now goes up to 5th, ahead of Nate Cicero. Now, what can Connor Zilic do with a little bit of aerodynamic help from that number 83 car behind? Note this down on a piece of paper. The gap is 4.8 seconds between Connor Zilic and, in fact, it's already gone down to 4.4, now back up to 4.8. Depends where you're on the track, of course. But just watch that gap between Zilic and Jeremy Fletcher in 4th position. Zilic, who was all over the curbs and the grass through turn 1 earlier on, takes a more conventional line through turn 1 this time. Just get the feeling that this is yet to reach its crescendo. And with that big group that we had, what was it, 8, 9, 10 cars, whittled down now to just the top 4. Connor Zilic's passenger side, the right-hand side door mirror has been folded back in close combat. So he'll be looking in his rear view, trying to work out where his competition is going to come from. Western Workman back in the front of the chasing group. So that's the 7th on down group. That'll be the dark purple number 13 that you'll see. It's the group further back headed. Let's check who's in there. Well, the 55 is in there. That's the battle we were watching earlier on, wasn't it? Jonathan Neudorf and James Hayosh in the 81 car. He's just ahead of them, the 42 with Parker DeLong. They're battling at the 20th spot on down. I'd say 2 or 3 more laps. Now, with the gap that the leaders have got, it's actually gone out a wee bit, so they have been picking up the pace. 35 1s and 2s at the front of the field. Connor Zilic at 35.4 last time around. Woody Hyman in the bright yellow number 82 is just in a 35.3. He's not quite in touch with what's going on at the front of the field. It's his fastest lap of the race, by the way. Jeremy Fletcher has the fastest lap of the race, and that's points. 1:34.887. Yeah, I think maybe 2 more laps. Let's get it to somewhere under 10 minutes. Because with 5 seconds, these 4 at the front might reasonably reckon that they're, if not out of reach, it might be time to pull the pin and start battling for final positions. Connor Zilic in 5th position might be hoping that they do that rather sooner rather than later. Keep an eye on his next lap time as well. 35.4 last time around for Connor. The gap though 5.7 to the leader, 5 seconds to Jeremy Fletcher as they cross the line now with 11 minutes to go, near enough. Then the sole figure of Connor Zilic. Oh, actually, no, he's got Nate Cicero so close up behind him, I couldn't see him as they went across the finish line. I've just realised. Zilic in the 83 black and blue car as the leaders. What we're not seeing here is any concerted effort to make a position up. To me as though Jeremy Fletcher might just be struggling a little bit at the back of that group. The number 22 car, the lighter blue flashes on the front, just struggling to stay in touch, not by much, but he's having to really make that up on the brakes down at turn 4. That's going to take it out of his tyres. But he's back on with them now. 4 cars, 4 drivers. 3 spots on the podium. McCumbee McAleer from JTR, from McCumbee McAleer. So even Stevens as far as the teams are concerned. The 2 McCumbee cars, 2nd and 3rd in the lead group, so that it's easier for them to work together, of course, than 1 and 4. Nate Cicero still trying to hold on to Connor Zilic for 5th and 6th. Right, let's see what happens now. It's under 10 minutes. 22 laps of Mid-Ohio have been completed. And let's see if anybody breaks ranks here. There was a thought there, wasn't there, from Aaron Johnson. Not quite close enough. Let's see if there's a pass this time down into turn 4, an attempted pass. Tyler Gonzalez remains in 11th position and still got Ethan Jacobs right up his tailpipes, then Hyman in the bright yellow car, then Batura in the olive sort of Army or Air Force, and then that's Sally Mott in the black and pink and white car. This 5 have been doing the same as the leaders. And Gonzalez, however, is 5 seconds away from the top 10 of Nicholson, and they're starting to fight. Ultimately, they drop back into the same positions, but Gonzalez now has realised that his 11th position is beginning to become under threat, and it's becoming attractive to the cars behind. At the front of the field, Gresham Wagner is going to get the points for leading the most laps. He's been out there for a very long time. However, the pace is picking up at the front of the field. New fastest lap of his race by Gresham Wagner at 34.9. 34.8 from Jared Thomas, 34.8, but a bit faster by Aaron Johnson. Only Jeremy Fletcher in that leading 4 didn't improve his best lap time last time around. And they've now pulled out a good half a second to Connor Zilic in 5th. So the pace is picking up now. From the front of the field, Gresham Wagner beginning to try and stretch this group of 4. Incredibly close for the fastest lap. Johnson, 134.876. Fletcher, 134.887. 134.888 for Jared Thomas. 4 cars, evenly matched. 4 drivers planning, scheming, working out the tactics. Yes, they can talk to the pit wall, but there's not really any help that they can give them at this stage. They'll have talked about the car setup and getting the car right for this time of the race. Racing fuel being burned off. Starting to get into the interesting phase of the Michelin Slick Racing tyre. Who's been cleverest, leaning on particularly the front tyres? It is a clockwise circuit, so it will tend to be the left front that takes the pounding. Not a very long radius, high speed, right-hand corners. That puts the weight on the left front. Still no effort to go and make a position. So you think at this stage, don't you? You think, okay, if this is a normal car race, Jared Wagner's got this set up. There's nobody been able to go past him. Ah, well, how things can change. Nobody showing their hand at the moment. This is high stakes poker at a nearly 100 mile an hour average around the circuit. Gresham Wagner, 134.698 last time around, has reset the fastest lap at 34.704 for Jared Thomas, 7.66 for Aaron Johnson, and Jeremy Fletcher has jumped in with a 34.755. So all of the top 4 putting in their fastest laps last time around. In 11th place, Tyler Gonzalez is still fighting for that position. That's side by side, Woody Hyman and Batura. Actually, somebody's got ahead in that because there was 5 cars and somebody's got ahead of Tyler Gonzalez, haven't they? Yes, they have. It's Ethan Jacobs who's gone through in the black and neon coloured car. So Jacobs now up to 11th, Gonzalez down to 12th, Hyman, Batura and Sally Mott still fighting over that position. And Jean Jourdouin has gone past Grant West as well as they went across the finish line. Under 5 minutes to go. Wagner, Thomas, Janson, Fletcher. All of these drivers have experience. They know each other very well. They are exceptionally respectful of each other when driving. That might be a little bit of vinyl trading, but I don't mean they're swapping their records, by the way. There, the cars are wrapped. You would have said paint trading back in the day, but if I'd said that, somebody would have probably said they're not painting now, Andy. A little bit of side-by-side action expected here. Maybe even a little bit of bump drafting down the straights, but not in the corners. Jeremy Fletcher beginning to feel he wants to move up now after looking earlier on, maybe 5-6 minutes ago. The fourth car in line looking like it was struggling to keep up. But has Jeremy Fletcher timed this right? Another fastest lap from Johnson and Fletcher in third and fourth. Here comes Fletcher. He's got a great run through turn one. The leader puts right-hand side Michelin's on the dirt. That will slow Gresham Wagner down, but there's no attempt to go by Jared Thomas. That was an opportunity because the leader had to lift. He was bouncing across the grass, and even if he didn't lift, the wheels weren't on the ground. He wasn't getting any forward motion. So Jared Thomas must think he has got a car that has the performance to take this victory. Jeremy Fletcher pulls out of line, maybe just getting a little bit of extra air into the radiators and the coolers on the number 22. Michelin racing then, first and fourth. JTR are the meat in the sandwich. Double meat at that. As they come round this time, I'm watching the clock. About a 1:34 lap. I don't think we'll get the white flag this time. Look at the flag stand as they come across what will be the finish line. Next time by, we'll get the white flag. So this one and two more. Gresham Wagner. Right. Oh, there's a little nudge there. That was a mistake from Aaron Johnson, and he's put Jared Thomas into the gravel, and Jared has not quite rolled far enough. And a huge blow for the triple championship aspirations of Jared Thomas, who'd been biding his time in second. It was a mistake from Johnson. It wasn't malicious, but he will get a penalty for that. These cars are absolutely on the edge of adhesion. It was, I think, predicated by the fact that Jeremy Fletcher made a little look to the right-hand side of the number 24 of Aaron Johnson, and he felt the need to leave his braking a little bit late, and it was a little bit too late. Well, that's broken it up now, with 36 seconds on the clock. There'll be white flag next time around, but that's a massive blow, and that will be one unhappy Jared Thomas. Not malicious, as I say, but a mistake that has materially affected the race of Jared Thomas. White flag, one to go, and the two Macumbi-Mcaleer Racing teammates, Gresham Wagner and Jeremy Fletcher, at the moment first and second, with Aaron Johnson for JTR in third. But I suspect that with the JTR number 96 still stranded in the gravel, the driver's left the outside of turn at number 2 in this configuration. It's the keyhole. What a frustratingly disappointing end to something that had been boiling up nicely for 40 minutes. Now these two cars are teammates, but they are of course fighting for their own championship. So this might not be over yet. Halfway round the final lap. Gresham Wagner and Jeremy Fletcher continuing to battle it out. I don't think Fletcher's close enough. He's going to have to make a run from a very long way back. Last opportunity is into the carousel. He took a lot of speed through, but Fletcher hasn't been able to control that. And for the second race of the weekend, our winner from Macumbi-Macaleer Racing, this time it's Gresham Wagner who takes the checkered flag. An uncharacteristically quiet finish for a Mazda race, but not so further down the field, where still for 10th position, Tyler Gonzalez. Nicholson just ahead of him, Jacobs just behind him, the two rookies. They go through and Jacobs has got back ahead of Gonzalez on that lap, so takes 10th from 11th. Also, I noticed that... yes, well, of course, that was because Conor Zilic was parked. So, Aaron Johnson has been given a drive-through for the contact. That will be converted into time. The contact that left the JTR Motorsport Engineering Mazda of Jared Thomas, the number 96 car, in the gravel. So, subject to confirmation and post-race technical inspection, here's our Whelen Mazda MX-5 Cup rundown. Gresham Wagner takes the victory, and it becomes a podium sweep for Macumbi-Macaleer Racing with that penalty. Donuts at the top of madness for the number 5 car. Gresham Wagner getting the appreciation of the crowd. 180 horsepower, well, it's enough to do the donuts. Nicely done. Doesn't need those tyres again. His teammate Jeremy Fletcher comes through in second, half a second away. And in third, it is the 83 of Nate Cicero, albeit some 12 seconds away from the leading pair. If proof were needed that you need just to keep plugging on, you never know what's going to happen. Two of the leading 4 with issues, one caused by the other, and then the penalty. Weston Workman will be the best of the rookies in what I think is his best finish, actually, 4th on the road. Conor Zilic fights his way back up to 5th position. Again, never say die, and that's good points for the championship. Jean Chatoine in 6th, Grant West in 7th, Nathan Nicholson is the second best of the rookies in 8th, ahead of Ethan Jacobs, 3rd rookie in 9th, and Tyler Gonzalez nets a 10th position. Then it's Alex Bashura, Woody Hyman, Sally Mott in 13th. Will take the $2,000 for being the best female driver, also 4th in the rookies. Aaron Johnson relegated to 14th position, Julian DaCosta, Jonathan Neudorf, Parker DeLong, Cody Powell, Heather Hadley dropped back down and then fought away up to 19th. James Hayosh, Kristen Hodland, Peter Atwater with problems, Brian Heitman with problems, Farhan Siddiqui, Nick Schaefer, Jared Thomas, a non-finisher at the end of the race. And that has major championship implications. We won't go through that now because we're running out of time on a busy Sunday race day. So a win for Gresham Wagner in somewhat odd circumstances for Whelen Mazda MX-5 Cup. The big talking point, the incident at the end of the race that saw Jared Thomas beached in the gravel at the keyhole. Take nothing away from Gresham Wagner, he led the most laps as well. For Shea Adam and our team, I'm John Hindhaugh. We'll see you next time at the track. My pleasure.